I know what it's like, feeling so overwhelmed because there seems to be so many things to practice that it makes your head hurt. I'm going to help you so you walk away from each practice feeling good, feeling like you've actually accomplished something every time. So you start practicing something, like arpeggios for example. You get into it for a few minutes and then you think, oh gee, that song I played last week, I really butchered the chords. Let's work on that. You're playing along and, man, when I soloed on this section last time, it was terrible. Let's fix that. So you start going in circles, a cyclone of chaos, and when you're finished, it doesn't feel like you got anything accomplished. Time seems to have disappeared with not a lot to show for it. Instead of feeling like you're gaining ground, all you can think about is, why can't I get anywhere? I've been there.
Oh, the humanity.
Feeling a sense of accomplishment is absolutely vital if we want to take our playing to another level. I'd like to share something with you that worked for me, if that's all right. My suggestion is to only practice one thing. Before you practice, intentionally tell yourself, no matter what, I'm just going to practice this, whatever this is. Things are pulling us all different directions. Distractions are everywhere. Cell phones, emails, social media alerts. So pick one thing and one thing only that day. In my experience, when I focused on this approach, each day I felt so much better about myself. I felt like I was getting somewhere. I was accomplishing things. Over time, as I worked on one new thing at a time, I felt my jazz powers growing, my ability to navigate through a song. Do you know what else was growing? My confidence. It's like strengthening all the moving parts so that everything works as one well-oiled machine. You can come back to the same topic again the next day if you really feel like you need to. Do that as many times as you want until you feel good about it. That's the key. You have to feel like something has improved, like a needle has been moved before you move on to the next thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. Why are you practicing? It's an important thing to ask yourself. Do I just need to brush up on something I already know? Or am I trying to incorporate something new into my playing? This will set up what you practice that day. But if you only practice what you already know over and over, you'll never get any better or improve. Maintenance is important, but don't forget to grow. Here's a great little hack from someone famous to add just a tiny little thing to add to your focus practice that is guaranteed to make you feel great when you're finished. Rick Emmett was a teacher of mine. Yeah, that Rick Emmett from the 80s supergroup Triumph. He gave some really good advice. Practice the hard stuff, the new stuff, first. Then save the stuff that you can play really well for the last 10 minutes or so. That way you remind yourself that you can do something well, and that it helps us feel good when we wrap up our session. Sometimes the new stuff can make you feel inadequate or less than if that's all you work on. Unless you're a masochist, it won't be fun after a while, and you might get down on yourself, sending yourself a subtle or not so subtle message that practicing is super hard and a super drag. But if you feel uncomfortable when you're working on something, then you have yourself a recipe for knowing exactly what to work on, what to practice. Making the uncomfortable comfortable is where growth, meaningful transformation takes place. A 2-5-1 chord progression is the most common chord progression in jazz. So it's a really important thing to practice in order to improvise well. If you need an idea now of what to practice, this video shows you actually how to make your 2-5-1s easier